Mom Holland. Stacey, is it blinking?
I have no, it's blinking. I don't know what's, so that's good?
Hello, blinky camera.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Okay, good.
That means it's recording. So, proceed.
I have a line here.
Can everyone, is this on? That's the whale maker.
So I was going to start, and I did this earlier today with Kathy, with marriage is what brings us. So you're welcome. That I didn't, but I did. But love is what brings us together today. And I know that often the cynics among us, and there are actually quite a few cynics in this room. I'm looking at you, Deb Wasey and Stacey Meyer, who often mock love gently. Love songs and love stories. But today we really are gathered here to celebrate the love of Ruth and Kathy. And so I wanted to take time to reflect a little bit on love. And that is an endeavor that has been done by humans since the very beginning of time. Love as that mysterious force that binds us together as humans, as family and as friends, and as lovers. And what does it mean, and what is it, and how do we know it's real, and how do we know it will last? And there have been poems written about it, and the metaphors go on and on. Love is a rose, and love is a many splendored thing. But I think that love as a noun, love as a feeling, can sometimes be a little fragile and a little subject to the winds of time. And so I was really thinking about love as an action. I love you, subject, verb, object, and love, you are welcome, Kathy. Love as an action, love as an act that we take each and every day that we wake up and recommit ourselves to the people in our lives, to the person in our lives. And love as an action.
Sorry, I had
to. Thank you, Kathy. I wasn't going to go there, but I'm so glad she did. But love as an action is a little less mutable. And the acts we take in love, whether we feel loved or not, are what keep us together. Because love is the hand holding tight to ease pain and fear. And love is the throwing wide open of arms in welcoming joy, of clasping tight in happiness. Love is laughing and smiling for no reason at all. Love is honoring and respecting oneself enough to commit to another in wholeness. Love is the commitment and the act of committing. And marriage, which is what brings us here today, is the public acknowledgement. It is the legal recognition and the communal blessing of all of those acts of commitment. And so today we really are here to say that we honor and respect and recognize and celebrate each of the acts you have taken in the past 19 years to commit to each other. And this wedding is a celebration, an acknowledgement, and a recognition, and a community coming together to say that we will honor and respect each of the moments and all of the years you have to come. And so, with that, I want to turn things over to Kathy. And now I'm going to cry. And she has a reading for us.
And there's a box of Kleenex on our table. We have 3 readings today. This first one is from Mr. Rogers. There's a line in The Little Prince that reads, "What is essential is invisible to the eye." Well, what is essential about you? And who are those who have helped you become the person that you are? Anyone who has ever been able to sustain a good work has had at least one person, and often many, who have believed in him or her. We just don't get to be competent human beings without a lot of different investments from others. So I'd like to give all of you an invisible gift. A gift of a silent moment to think about those who have helped you become you are today. Some of them may be here right now. Some may be far away. Some may have passed from this life. But wherever they are, if they've loved you and encouraged you and wanted what was best in life for you, they're right inside yourself. So let's just take 30 silent seconds in honor of those who have cared about us all along the way. I'll watch the time. Whomever you've been thinking about, imagine how grateful they must be that during your silent times, you remember how important they are to you. It's not the honors and the prizes and the fancy outsides of life which ultimately nourish our souls. It's the knowing that we can be trusted, that we never have to fear the truth, and that the bedrock of our lives from which we make our choices is very good stuff.
We have been asked to do a reading from Rumi called Bird Wings. Your grief for what you've lost lifts a mirror up to where you're bravely working. Expecting to see the worst, you look, and instead,
Here's the joyful face you've been wanting to see.
your hand opens
And closes
and opens.
and closes.
If it were always a fist,
Or always stretched open.
you would be paralyzed.
Your deepest presence is in every small contracting and expanding.
The two is beautifully balanced, incarnated as bird wings.
I just want to interrupt and say the Mr. Rogers reading was picked to honor all of you and also to get you to cry. So thank you.
That worked. Well done. I'll be reading from the Velveteen Rabbit. What is real? Asked the Velveteen Rabbit one day when they were lying side by side in the nursery. Does it mean having things buzz inside you in a stick-out handle? Love isn't how you're made, said the Skin Horse. It's a thing that happens to you. When someone loves you for a long, long time, not just to play with, but really loves you, then you become real. Does it hurt? Asked the rabbit. Sometimes, said the Skid Horse, for he was always truthful. When you are real, you don't mind being hurt. Does it happen all at once, like being wound up, he asked, or bit by bit? It doesn't happen all at once, said the Skin Horse. You become. It takes a long time. That's why it doesn't happen often to people who break easily, or have sharp edges, or have to be carefully kept. Generally, by the time you are real, most of your hair has been lopped off, and your eyes drop out, and you get loose in your joints, and very shabby. But things don't matter at all, because once you are real, you cannot be ugly. Except to people who don't understand. Once you are real, you cannot become unreal again. It lasts for always.
Music.
So one of the things I've learned as a wedding singer is that when you sing for people you really love a lot, it's very important that you don't look at them when you're singing.
She is wise.
I am not kidding. I sang for my mother's second wedding, and it was, yeah. Okay, anyway. This is but the bells don't ring. It's a quiet thing when you hold the world in your trembling hand. You think you'd hear a choir sing. It's a quiet there's no exploding fireworks. Where's the roaring of the crowds? Maybe it's the strange new atmosphere way up here among the clouds. But I don't hear the drums, and I don't hear the band. The sounds untold, such moments bring. Happiness comes in on tiptoe. Well, what do you know? It's a quiet thing, a very quiet
And now,
We get to the meat of it.
Legally, what we need to make a wedding is a declaration of intent. I read this in the statutes. I'm encouraging this. So today, what we're going to do is that declaration of intent. So as an expression, Ruth and Kathy, of your total willingness to commit yourself to one another, I invite you to face each other and join hands.
here's a question very well.
We anticipated that. That was bad.
Theater training comes in handy. Kathy, will you have Ruth to be your wife, to live with her, respect her, and love her with the promise of faithfulness, tenderness, and helpfulness as long as you both shall live?
I will.
Ruth, will you have Kathy to be your wife, to live with her, respect her, and love her with the promise of faithfulness, tenderness, and helpfulness as long as you both shall live?
I will.
All right, now it's time for the exchange of vows.
We didn't determine who would go first.
Whoever's crying least.
We could rock, paper, scissors for it. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right. Well, as we're all aware, in the Old Testament, there is a book of Ruth.
I read it when I was 7.
And despite everything in the Old Testament that I find disagreeable, and let's face it, that's a lot, there's a passage in Ruth that I've always found very lovely. And ironically, it's one woman giving it to another. And it's a declaration of loyalty that says, where you go, I will follow. Your people will be my people, and your God my God. Now, if we were writing a book of Ruth and Kathy, that would go something like, TV shows you watch, I will follow.
But you can watch them on your own, that's okay.
Yeah, your geekiness will be my geekiness, and your food, my food. Even dessert. And today it's even your jewelry will be my jewelry, because we're wearing each other's stuff. But the simple fact is, over 19 years ago, we made that vow of where you go, I will follow, not because of some ancient text directing us, but because it felt right and it made sense. And then, as now, you are the best honey in the whole wide world. For me. She always makes me qualify that. But I'm going to amend that vow slightly today and tell you where you go. Instead of following, I will be right beside you. All of our good days and the few bad ones, especially the few bad ones. All of the healthy times and especially the sick ones. Days we're feeling rich and especially the days when we feel broke. I'll be there with you and for you till the end of our time on earth. And I'll just close by saying I am so damn lucky. Not yet.
Well, Kathy, when we met 19 years ago, first thing I noticed about you was your smile. And then I noticed how your eyes changed color depending on what you were wearing. And then I heard you sing. And I didn't know then how much I would grow to love you, but it didn't matter because we had time. So as your wife, I promise to continue my duties as they currently stand. I promise to be either the beer fairy or the coffee fairy, depending on the particular time of day. Sometimes it's both. I promise to prepare the food and preserve the bounty that you grow for us. I promise to kiss away your crankies. And I promise to just be there and be by your side. I thank you for all that you do for us. And most of all, I thank you for all those times you go get me something because there's a cat on my lap and I feel like getting up off the couch. When we both have cats on our laps, this is really difficult. And I want to be the best person I can be because we're a team. And I want to do the best for our team.
And now they will exchange drinks, and then they will exchange their ring vows.
These are the rings that we bought each other 18 years ago.
Something like that.
They're just little sterling silver rings, but you'll know why we're using these rings and not the expensive rings soon enough.
And the inscription is French and says, for always. Pour toujours. Ruth, these rings are just bits of silver. They're polished, they're pretty. They'll spend time as they've spent time on our fingers, and they'll spend some time off. And one day we might lose them, and it won't matter.
Kathy, it won't matter because these rings are not the important thing we give each other today. What we give each other that is important is our undying love, our utter devotion, our absolute trust, and our total commitment.
These things cannot be taken off,
and they cannot be lost.
They will be with us always.
And my script says, yo, you be married.
Come on, let's hear it. Yo.
I was just about to say, I remember it was about 19 years ago right now, after a trip to Don's pub when we were all a little drunk. Kathy stayed less drunk because she had to drive us because she still had a car at the time. And they turned around and said to me, hey Beth, remember that party at your house? And I'm like, oh fuck, yes I do. It was crazy. And they said, we've kind of been seeing each other ever since. And I said, that's great.
And that was the end of it for me because these two people have been important to me. And they've been important to many of the people in this room, even if you only met them 2 days ago, or as Blake, only an hour ago. Because it is important as people and as humans that we celebrate the acts of commitment that people make, because it enriches not only the two people involved, but it enriches their entire communities. And as your community and as your chosen family, we say thank you for 19 years of committing to each other and showing us how it's fucking done. And we celebrate with you today. And we celebrate with you for all your days to come. You may kiss your brides. Hold, please. Go back to the kiss, please. Okay, good. Wait, again. Which time this time? Gently.
No one wants to see that.
You. And my throat, my mouth is all dry and